welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and this is at the request of Patreon subscriber First Revenge, who has sent me a Jeskai Stoneblade list that is credited to Ford0076. We got a couple things going on here. Stoneblade has been a deck that has kind of impressed me lately. I don't know if it's impressed me more than a Psychic Frog deck would, but the card Stoneforge Mystic has been holding its own when I've been asked to play it on the channel recently. I was also recently asked to play a couple different builds of Jeskai Control, which I found kind of anemic because the win conditions that Jeskai Control want to play are so bad when you draw them early that you don't want to play very many of them to minimize drawing them early when they're not good, which means that sometimes they're hard to find when you do have control of a game, and then you lose control of that game while you're trying to win it. And that includes a recent Jeskai Energy Control list I was asked to play that had Tune the Narrative, Galvanic Discharge, Wrath of the Skies in it. And while this deck doesn't have Tune the Narrative, it does have Galvanic Discharge as a removal spell. It does have main deck Wrath of the Skies, both of which are things I like. But unlike that other deck that couldn't actually win after it killed a bunch of creatures, Stoneforge Mystic, very good at applying pressure. Snapcaster Mage, it's honest work, but these are beats. I've gone coast to coast with a Snapcaster Mage more than once in my career. If you're in a Jeskai Control game, getting to 5 or 7 mana to cast Batterskull and Cauldron is totally fine, even without Stoneforge Mystic. Cryptic Coat, self-contained engine, pick it up, put it back down, crank out creatures. And we still have 4th Aerolingus at the top. I like white removal right now because it kills Frog no matter how big it is. I like that Galvanic Discharge makes your Frog opponent commit however big they're going to make the Frog before they even know how much damage you're going to do with Discharge, just by the way that the card works and how the spell resolves. I like 2 copies of Tamiyo. That has seemed like the perfect number in mid-range and control decks. I like on paper everything this deck is doing. Let's see if it can deliver in reality. Let's get into it. This is Ford0076's Jeskai Stoneblade submitted by First Revenge. This video is brought to you by Manscaped, the global lifestyle brand who are raising the bar in men's grooming. It's my pleasure to introduce the ultimate grooming experience with the Chairman Pro package. This all-in-one set gives you what you need for the perfect shave every time. The main event is the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver. The 360-degree contouring head comes with 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads. The 4-blade foil gives a super close shave, and the stubble trimmer lets you keep a rugged look. Both heads are designed to reduce razor burn and irritation, so you're always feeling smooth and comfortable. The Chairman has multiple quality of life features, like a travel lock that won't turn on in your bag, an LED spotlight that helps you see every detail, and it's waterproof, so you can use it in the shower, making your routine easier and cleaner. The Power Shave Gel is dermatologist tested for sensitive skin and formulated specifically to help give a smooth, comfortable shave with the Chairman Pro. When you're done, the Face Shave Soother Aftershave hydrates your skin and soothes any post-shave irritation to reduce redness and defend against ingrown hairs and razor bumps. If you want to upgrade your grooming routine or find the perfect gift, the Chairman Pro package has everything in one box. Use promo code BoshNRoll for 20% off your order and free shipping at manscaped.com. I'm on the draw in round 1. This is the classic Island Ponder Keep strategy, blue-white, basic heavy, mid-range control decks. That's where that slogan came from. I will be keeping this hand. If my opponent is trying to play a game that is centered around creatures, they're in a lot of trouble. If they're playing a game that's centered around spells, I'm in a lot of trouble. Let's see what's what. Mishra's Bauble is a spell. If this is just some sort of Dragon's Rage Channeler deck, that's good. If this is some sort of Mystic Forge deck, we are so dead. Nethergoyf, that's a good sign for me. That is the type of dingus that I can interact with. And not only can I interact easily with this dingus, but it signifies a type of game that I am interested in playing because the Reanimator decks don't have room for Nethergoyf. This probably is just Dimir or maybe Grixis, creatures with stats and cheap interaction, which is exactly what my hand is lined up to fight against. We've got a Tamiyo to go with this Nethergoyf. Psychic Frog's definitely going to be in this deck. Ooh, opponent wisely just going for Flip Tamiyo instantaneously. I do have the Prismatic Ending, which means I'm not ice cold to this thing the way that I have been in some other decks I played recently. And I would have prioritized Tamiyo with my removal over Nethergoyf. Nethergoyf is just damage. I can absorb damage. That's something I can handle. I am not super interested in getting ground out by a Planeswalker, though. And I'm going to plow Nethergoyf in their upkeep. I want to test their interaction on the thing I don't care about before I play the card I care a lot about, which is Prismatic Ending on Tamiyo. Okay, that resolved. Plus their Tamiyo. Orcish Bowmaster, gross. Well, I'll brainstorm in response. At least get this card off the ground. Discharge can kill Bowmaster. So does everything else in my hand. I'm going to save the Force Blue card to fight over Prismatic Ending, because I can clear this Bowmaster as long as I'm not just dead to everything else. I'm going to put back Tundra and Ponder. Or I'll put Tundra Wrath. Wrath Tundra? Maybe I go the other way. Yeah, I'm actually going to put back Wrath and Tundra and shuffle away the Wrath. I'm redrawing one of these cards no matter what because it's my opponent's turn right now. Okay, I don't really want to fetch another basic Plains, which means I'm probably committed to playing Tundra here. Though Discharge is such a good answer to Frog, and I get to keep the plow in my hand. All right, let's end this Tamiyo. Enough of this. Absolutely going to force to fight over this if they fight back. I'm not going to beat an opponent who draws half their deck. Okay, Force Pitching Force. I Force Pitching Ponder back. And that's gone. They got one card left in their hand. I might just redraw the Wrath of the Skies here and sweep up their whole squad. That's probably better than trying to go 1-for-1. The best thing that could happen here is they just like play out a Psychic Frog or a Nethergoyf for some shit that dies to Wrath. Yeah, they didn't do that. I do have to play into Daze, which I'm not a huge fan of. I'm going to fetch Basic Mountain, and yeah, I'll play the Wrath. They forced pitching Force last turn. They didn't pitch Daze when that actually would have been insane. Like, I think they would have pitched Daze to that Force last turn. Yeah, okay. The read was right. The board is empty. We both have 2 cards in hand. Mine are 2 kill spells. They're a deck full of creatures. Okay, Brazen Borrower, down and dirty, 3-1 mode. This is the Jeskai control place where I'd really like something that starts to turn the pressure around on them. And I'm glad my deck is higher density than a control deck to do that. Brainstorm right after a Ponder. Did not shuffle the Ponder. So they found the first cantrip after the dust settled, which gives them an advantage here. But they do have fewer cards than me. In general, playing that land is a big sign of weakness. Okay, can I draw a Stoneforge Mystic? I drew Wrath of the Skies. I'm just going to discharge this thing in the main phase. I'm doing it anyway. And I don't want them to untap into like a Heartcast Force of Negation or some crap I don't need to play around. Okay, they fetched in their upkeep rather than in the end step, which makes me think they don't have another Undercity Sewers in the deck. They have one card that they kept on purpose, and then one card that they just drew at random. I can Wrath this and save Swords to Plowshares. Ooh, I could discharge this. They can't even stop it. That's gross. Yeah, discharge this. Spend 2 energy. I had 2 energy in the bag for the first one. The energy bag's just getting up and up. We are now exactly in the place I was concerned about. Come on, Stoneforge Mystic, Tamiyo, something to do here. There is a Meticulous Archive in my deck. I'll play out this Scalding Tarn. There it is. Nile Spellbomb. Okay. I do play Snapcaster Mage. They'll probably just cantrip that off pretty quickly, though. Yeah. They're just looking for cards to play. They found a Ponder. They shuffled the Ponder. Murktide Regent. Okay, this is why I held that Plow earlier. Or I ended up drawing the Galvanic Discharge to make it very easy. But I was going to Wrath the Frog instead of Plow the Frog because Murktide is something that can be answered with Plow. Okay, they're dazing me just to Surveil again. That's fine. That's probably not getting much better. My turn to Surveil. Prismatic Ending. I could just keep banking up answers to threats, or I could try to get my own win. I'm going to put that in the graveyard. and try to actually apply pressure here. Like that. Teferi, get in there. I'm just going to draw a card immediately. There we go. I would not fault anyone for keeping the prismatic ending. I think it would be fine to just pad up your draw. Make sure you don't randomly get frogged. But they're on such low resources. Their hand was only Undercity Sewers at the time, and I already have a removal spell ready. I think putting my foot on the gas is fine there. They kept their Surveil. That's a little spooky. Okay, my spells have flash. Not this one, though. Begin the beats. There's a Flooded Strand under there. There are 26. I'm at 8. I got work to do. I'm actually in quite a lot of trouble to a Murktide Regent. I'm not that worried about Tamiyo. And Teferi gives me a lot of comfort in this world as well. I'm not going to pick up Cryptic Coat because my opponent can just block a 2-2, but they can't block a 3-2. Brainstorm. No good way to get rid of these cards. That's not true. I could pick up Cryptic Coat, replay it, and that clears one of the cards. I'm going to put back Spell Pierce and I guess Brainstorm. My plan is to attack for 3. Then I'm going to Wrath for X equals 0, but spend one of my banked energy. And then I'm going to, which will kill my, okay, yikes. Does this change my plan? I could just Force of Negation this, and then Swords to Plowshares. All right, yeah, I guess I will make that my new plan. If they walked me into a Murktide Regent, they deserve it here. But Teferi's back up to 3 and can bounce the Murktide. It's not that bad. Now I have to redraw the stinky cards I didn't want. Well, that's not even true. I could just pick up and replay this right now, which is what I'm going to do. This Spell Pierce doesn't seem very good right now. And now that I don't have to Wrath, I can even keep these creatures on the board. We're starting to get control. Ponder. Shuffle off the Ponder. Fatal Push targeting my ward creature. They got the mana to pay. You killed my Spell Pierce. Stoneforge Mystic. All right, here we go. That's some powerful stuff. I'm going to use Teferi to pick up Cryptic Coat before I do anything else. Oh, sick. Back to Basics does nuke 3 of their lands here. Yeah, I'll just drop that in. I don't think I'm losing a game where I don't cast that, but I also don't think I'm losing a game where I do cast that. It's kind of a weird one there. Okay, they pass without any plays. Now I have Force in this hand as well. A Bounty of Riches. Stoneforge Mystic, go get Cauldra. Let's just put the boots to him at this point. Okay, fetch. This will access the basic swamp that every blue-black deck gets to play. I'm not going to spend Force of Will on that. I'm winning without Force of Will, or I'm winning without Stoneforge Mystic. I'm winning without Cauldra. I don't want to get surprised by some nonsense. Plus Teferi, attack for 2. I'm just going to play Cryptic Coat. It's a Flooded Strand under there. It's all over but the Cryon at this point. We just have to grind this out and see what happens. But what's going to happen is I'm going to kill all their stuff and then win very slowly. Another Goyf. And that's pretty big. Teferi could bounce it rather than this guys can sweep it. Another Goyf. Okay. And they have tapped all of their cards, all their lands to do this. A fresh Teferi. If I want a land, I can bounce my cloaked creature and then Flooded Strand is in my hand. Is that something I'm interested in doing? And I'm going to attack for 3 before I do any of this. This unblockable creature. Do your thing. Okay, I could just plus Teferi, or I could use Teferi to functionally draw 2 cards, put Flooded Strand and new card in my hand. I kind of want a Flooded Strand, actually. Okay, bounce this. Because this gives me another basic that I can Wrath under. I'm going to put a bunch of extra energy in the tank. Wait, I've used all my energy cards. This doesn't make any sense. Hold on. Yeah, I'm just going to put 1 extra energy in the bank. And then I can still pick up Cryptic Coat. That's a much better way to do this. Just goofing, doing silly stuff. They do have mana to cast Psychic Frog here. Nile Spellbomb, another one of those. Pick up the Coat. Another Force. A new Teferi. Emergency Spellbomb. Still haven't seen a Snapcaster Mage, so we're safe from that. I'll get my last basic land here. replay the coat. There's a Snapcaster Mage. I'm actually just going to plus Teferi here because I don't need more cards, but I might need to bounce something that they play. I do have them dead on board. 3 mana for something. What's all this? Oh, escaping a Goyf. Yeah, that's legal. Okay. So I bounce the Goyf, cast Cauldra. Oh wait, no. This has 5 power, not 7 power. I bounce the Goyf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's probably better to play out the Valk and lock that down forever than lock down a White Source, but I don't think it matters much, and I'm just trying to win. Okay, now they are dead on board to my unblockable creature next turn. And my hand is force blue card, force blue card. Okay, a lot of work, but we did it. The Red Blast and Pyroblast answer Psychic Frog and Tameo. I do like that. We saw Bowmaster. We did not see Reanimate Nonsense. Force of Negation's out. I don't like Force of Will that much either. Murktide Regent also gets Red Blasted. Back to Basics is a weird one. I'm not high on this card, and although it did kind of calm down in a spot where it killed 3 lands last round, it also made me slow down from playing out. There was a turn where I could have played Teferi and didn't because I just wanted my own Back to Basics not to blow me out. And they also played 2 basics that they can fetch just fine. Back to Basics pretty much just slowed down the escaped Goyfs and didn't do anything else. I'm certainly not going to add Blood Moons to the mix. I could see cutting another Force of Will or cutting a 4th Aerolingus. Lingus, pretty risky in general versus Orcish Bowmaster decks, and not a card you want to draw early, and this deck has enough win cons that I don't need to be that worried about them. I think I'm going to cut another Force of Will, bring in these cards, and stop there. Okay, super fragile mana, and I'm holding a Cauldron already, but I have Brainstorm and Tameo. That's a plan. Bloodstain Mire. We've seen Thoughtseize in their deck. Ponder. Seeing Thoughtseize is interesting too, because if I didn't know any better after seeing most of their deck that game, it was not on my radar that the tempo build of the deck was playing Thoughtseize. I thought that was basically just for the combo build. That's good info. Great draw. Basic Island. The nuts. Go get them, Tameo. They may have boarded out some large number of creature removal as well. JK. Did they see that last game? I guess the Snapcaster was revealed at the end of the game because face-to-one cards have to be revealed. I think I want to Brainstorm now. I'm not going to play her on days because I actually want to find a fetch land and use it here. Alright, that's just impossible. Put back Cauldra and Teferi as my important cards. Play basic Plains pass. Okay, we are Brainstorm locked. I have a lot of removal in these cards that I'm stuck with though. Wasteland Bowmaster. This is all in their main phase. I'm just going to send the Plow. If they have days, my plan is to tap out for Teferi next turn anyway. And if they don't daze that, then that's good news for Teferi. And just to complete the package, Bowmaster is horrendous for Teferi, so that indicated what was safe for me to do. And now my spells are just resolving, and we're through the Brainstorm lock a turn early. Good news, me. And if they apply pressure this turn, I have Wrath of the Skies. If they don't apply pressure this turn, I have 4th Aerolingus. What I don't want to see here is a Murktide Regent. I'm not ready for that one. A Brainstorm. That means they're going to need a land if their plan is Murktide Regent. Confirmed, we've got a Barrogoyf coming in. That one I cannot sweep up with what I have. Yeah, I mean, this sucks quite a bit actually. And because my lands are non-basic, I don't even have a good plan here. Yikes, okay. They threaded the needle. A 3-drop or non-blue thing. Let's see, so combat damage to a player. Okay, so if this kills Teferi, they don't get the mill at least. They are going for Teferi. I can 4th Aerolingus at instant speed, but I don't think saving Teferi matters that much here. I can still 4th Aerolingus at instant speed. And I am going to go for this. I'm just trying to bait out some counter magic so I can resolve a spell I actually care about. Nobody's going to be the Monarch here because it's their end step. They Hydro-blasted that. Haven't wasted me yet, which makes me think they have more spells to play. Like Karumba. Okay. This Stoneforge Mystic is good. I have to just go for the Wrath here. They didn't have Daze before. Let's hope they don't have it now. Okay. The No Wasteland is interesting, but we got through the window we needed to get through with that. There's only one equipment left in my deck to tutor with the Stoneforge. Nether Goyf. That is the less scary of the Goyfs. I don't want to see a frog right now. Another Wasteland. I didn't want to see that either, I'm going to be honest. This is something I call out on the channel all the time too. When you build your deck to not get Wastelanded, but then it does, it can be pretty devastating. I have like 5 or 6 non-basics in the deck, and just happen to draw 2 of them this game. It's fine though. We're still gaming. Get the Cryptic Coat. I can fetch Meticulous Archive, and just hope they don't have a third Wasteland. We didn't kill Stoneforge. Ponder. Uh-oh. Did not shuffle. Okay, take my first real damage of the game. Turn 7. At least I got that going for me. Tamiyo is scary. I am going to get the Meticulous Archive here. Can't afford to play around Wasteland when we're talking about the thin margins here of can I stabilize versus these dinguses or not. I kept a Ponder. Wrath of the Skies actually just obliterates their whole life right now. Do I want Prismatic Vista? Do I want another Stoneforge? Another Stoneforge doesn't do anything. I could just full shuffle this, or I could take the mana. I'm just going to shuffle straight up. Ended up with Stoneforge anyway, Motobug. I am just going to pass here, and I think it's more important for me to use Cauldra as a removal spell than it is to try to race this board. If they have Brazen Borrower, that's bad for me. If they have Children's Edict, that's bad for me. They saw the Cryptic Coat. They didn't see Cauldra. Hopefully this is a nasty surprise and their Goyf just dies. Or they could answer my germ somehow and I'm in trouble. They do have the Petty Theft. Alright. That is the thing they had to have there. I go to 10. Now Caudra's kind of stinky for a minute. There's Red Blast. Could have protected the Cauldra last turn. Not super helpful now. I want to deal with Tamiyo, but I'm also a little worried if they have just Brainstorm right now. They'll probably crack their clue in the end step. I'm going to let them do that, and I'll respond with Red Blast. Okay, cool. Get the Tamiyo out of here. As much as I'd love to be holding an answer to Murktide Regent, or this 3-1 Brazen Borrower that's waiting for me, I'm not winning a game where they're drawing 2 cards a turn either. They played out a land. I'm just going to take the hit from Nether Goyf here. I'm not going to jump block with Batterskull when I can get a back and forth going. Oh, mana being spent. Do they have a ninja in their deck? Wow, they do. That's so cool. What does this do? Plus, you get an emblem. It's a 3-4 on your turn. All right, cool. All that happened. They're going to Surveil 2, then draw a card for each opponent who lost life this turn. That's me. That's 1. I was not expecting to see Kaito, Bane of Nightmares, show up here. Kudos for that, opponent. Here's Nether Goyf. Well, Batterskull can't attack through that, so I will put in the Cryptic Coat after all. That's a Stoneforge Mystic under there. That's good. I didn't want to draw that. Come on, deck. That's all 4 of them. I've drawn all 4 Stoneforges and all 3 equipments this game. Okay, this gets hexproof. The emblem gives +1/+1. I would like to apply pressure to that, but I don't know that I can afford to. All right, I'm going to attack Kaito. Got to do what we got to do here. And I guess I'll add another Stoneforge to the battlefield just for chump block value. When this fails to find, they're going to know Batterskull's in my hand, though. Maybe they'll force it. That would be the nuts. There's definitely a pause here. They're thinking about it. Wow! Tamiyo pitched a force. That was good news. They really don't want Batterskull to come down. If they plus Kaito, I'm in trouble. If they don't plus Kaito, I have a combat blowout incoming. Because plussing Kaito will make this 4-5. Okay, yeah, looks like they're going for the big swing, though. The card draw. 4-4 is bigger than 3-4. I hope the top of your deck wasn't good here. Don't tap mana. Don't tap mana. Okay, block Kaito. 3-4 hexproof. And my life total doesn't change and Kaito's dead. Nice. Okay. Bowmaster can finish off the germ. If I draw a land right now, I can equip Batterskull to my cloak, and we are winning. Come on, deck. Oh, I mean, I'm not going to complain about a Wrath of the Skies, though. Do I wait on this? What does that do? I could pick up and put back down Cryptic Coat in combat. I would like to take the Brazen Borrower down with me. Yeah, not drawing a land there sucks. Okay. I am just going to pass the turn, I guess. I could pick up Batterskull and put it back down next turn, or I could pick up and put down Cryptic Coat all right now. Only another wife can attack. They didn't flash in Brazen Borrower. Did they forget about that, or are they just betting that they can beat anything except a Wrath? I'm going to chump, as my life total is in jeopardy. Another Goyf. Okay. In that case, I'm going to pick up Batterskull. My clock has just gone under 5 minutes. My computer had some trouble during this match, and it cost me some time in a match that is, unfortunately, pretty heavily about time. Can I get them to overextend? What does that even look like? I can put in the Batterskull, blast the Brazen Borrower. No, I think I just have to Wrath now. It sucks that these Goyfs are going to be back. I think this is going to go to game 3, and I'm not going to have time to play it. Maybe they'll continue forgetting about Brazen Borrower, though. That would be great. Oh no, it's here. Okay, Brazen Borrower resolves. I go to 4. They can definitely replay at least one Goyf here. They didn't do it, though. Are they just holding Force of Will? I mean, honestly, I hope that they are. Because I just drew Pyroblast. Another one. Cool. I am actually going to destroy Brazen Borrower here, not fight over Force. It's not enough red sources to do everything I want to do there. And now I'm behind to these Nether Goyfs. Deck full of removal, though. Come on, deck. Bring it together. Massive graveyard. They'll have no trouble escaping these things. Escaped it, and it's still a 5/6 Psychic Frog. Disgusting. Okay, I need a Prismatic Ending or Swords to Plowshares or Teferi. That's one of those things. Plow the Goyf. Blast the Frog. And I should wait to play around Thoughtseize, but I'm going to pick up Cryptic Coat now for F6 value, because my clock is running. I can't afford to just leave stuff up here. Wow, Murktide Regent, that sucks. And they can still play the Barrow Goyf. I don't know if I have any outs here. Oh, they didn't follow up with Goyf. Wow, okay. Murktide Regent. All right, bounce that with Teferi. Fetch land gets the critical 5th mana for this Batterskull that I've been sitting on forever. Yeah, if they had played Goyf last turn also, they would have won this turn. And they're playing around probably Supreme Verdict, I guess, but by playing around Supreme Verdict, you play into every spot removal spell. I don't think you can really afford to do that. They did make Murktide exactly 4/4, though. They didn't go all the way in, go crazy ham, make it an 8. Didn't have to, and they were rewarded with a bigger graveyard from that. Murktide's back. This one is bigger. Still 5 card types in the graveyard. Carefully managed. That can still put another Goyf in if they want to. Still didn't do it, though. I am in desperation mode. I'm going to fetch just because I can't afford to draw a land here. And we're dead. Okay. Game 3 that we will not have time to play. I'm just going to hit submit and hope that I have a fast Stoneforge Mystic that runs unopposed. But yeah, after the stomping that we gave them game 1, when our stuff just lined up and we drew normal spells and then our win cons showed up later like we want them to, that looked great. And then the game where I just drew all of my weapons, it looked terrible. I have all my weapons again, but this time I have Brainstorm to get rid of them. They are only a minute ahead of me. I could play this out to a position where I'm going to shuffle this. I just don't need more Ponders or lands here. My hand is already Ponders and lands. But if I play faster than them, maybe they'll time out. There's another Goyf. Brainstorm. I'm just shoving this into Daze. If they want to use Daze there, they got it. Yikes. What a disaster. Okay, I'm fetching for Meticulous Archive. I'm doing this all sorcery speed for F6 value. Getting Wastelanded here isn't great. Goyf's in for 1. Didn't have a Ponder or anything to add to the board before that. Wasteland's whatever. Wasteland followed up by Tamiyo is really bad, though. And I redrew the Cauldra. Jesus. Motobug. Put back Cauldra and Batterskull. Fetch for basic planes and pass. I like the Wrath. That gives me a chance. Wrath into Lingus might actually get the game one. They're in for another 1 plus a clue token. And I can... The 1 Force of Will that's still in my deck was just drawn. Wrath for 1. I will force this day's pitching Brainstorm. I don't know if I would play this way if the clock wasn't what it was, but it is what it is. Oh, they didn't crack their clue either. They lost that to the Wrath. That's big. Ended up with a Bowmaster. Mostly washed out there. The Bowmaster means I can't just shove forth Aerolingus, which is what I wanted to do here. I don't have a normal removal spell in my graveyard for this Snapcaster to use. Now I do. I'm going to end Nethergoyf, and then I'm going to fetch Basic Mountain. Oh, this doesn't even work. Shit. I got so excited. I'm going to pass. I need 4 mana to get rid of the Bowmaster, which is what I want to get rid of. If I had used that Scalding Tarn, if I had waited... Yeah, I'm just playing too fast and not really thinking. It would be great to jump in the Snapcaster, block the Bowmaster, then cast Brainstorm. But obviously, my hand doesn't do that. Or the mana I fetched doesn't do that. Blue to Delta. Okay, cool. Do another one of these, which saves me the Snapcaster. They did not flash in another end-step Bowmaster. Orc Army can happen. Barrogoyf, hate that. Swords of Plowshares. Yo! Ding, 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 ding. Please force it, please force it. No, not that force! No! No! Oh my god. I could have just snapped it back if it was Force of Will. Now we're going to lose because they had specifically Force of Negation and not Force of Will. What a tilt. Okay. Well, shit. That was a fun, high adrenaline game for a minute, and now it's just over. Okay, GG's. Alright, a stressful game 3 because of the clock, but we can see how the matchup can go well and go poorly. On to the next round. Spooky season is here. I can't wait to play with my favorite ghouls and goblins. But the real fear is the looming specter of high shipping costs on singles. Card Trader is here to suck up those costs with their innovative Card Trader Zero system. Card Trader functions as your personal P.O. box to buy cards from sellers all over the world and get your order all in one easy package. Enjoy Duskmourn, House of Horror, and the rest of Card Trader's extensive worldwide selection of Magic and other TCG offerings. Use code BoshNRoll for 5% off your first order while you shop fearlessly with Card Trader Zero from cardtrader.com. I'm on the draw in round 2. My hand is not good, but I love a challenge. I have a quick 4th Aerolingus with Force backup, and if they're some sort of combo deck, I like having the Force. If this is a fair matchup that can apply pressure where jamming a quick 4th Aerolingus sucks, then we're in trouble. But if this is any sort of control or combo matchup, I actually think my hand is fine. A Tamiyo. Off of a basic island, so this might be a control matchup. I'm going to play Flooded Strand for the Meticulous Archive selection. Okay, basic island, basic swamp. We're just doing more of this. Tamiyo's doing her thing. This card's so good. Brainstorm. Well, I'm not going to Force a Will this, even though this is really early for them to have this Planeswalker. I wonder what the conversation was like in Wizards R&D when they put 3 as the number of cards you need to draw with Tamiyo to flip her, knowing that Brainstorm exists. Were they like, this is actually fine? Or was it like, this is fun? This is interesting? I don't know. I'm not saying it's not. I just think it definitely came up. And now I have my own Tamiyo. Theirs is on 6. I can send the 4th Aerolingus and put 1 damage on Tamiyo, or I could just get the Monarch and try to overcome. I think I want to attack with my Tamiyo this turn, and I can make more horses next turn. Fatal Push. Well, that's pretty good. Snapcaster Mage can jump in and apply some pressure. I wish I had anything to snap, though. Yeah, I'm just going to get clowned by draw half my deck. Yeah, with no spell to cast, and I lose my Force backup, but I think I have to play the Snapcaster just to attack the Tamiyo. Petty Theft. Okay, so it's back in my hand. That's good. That was the least bad that could have gone, I think. Okay, I can at least neutralize Tamiyo with this 4th Aerolingus. They're forcing. I'm forcing. Thanks for the Snapcaster Mage. Unfortunately, with Tamiyo at 8, I actually do have to attack here, and nobody's going to be the Monarch. We're just going to touch butts every turn. Tamiyo pluses up 2, then I attack it for 2 until they draw a Fatal Push or anything at all to break up the parity. Blockers aren't good enough. I have Swords to Plowshares. I'm ready for that. Reanimate my Tamiyo, you snake. When you draw your 3rd card, okay, this is not optional, but I don't think they're going to brainstorm anytime soon. Nice draw, back to basics. Yeah, that's doing a lot here. I will plow my own Tamiyo. Attack Tamiyo. Have I mentioned in this video that I'm low on back to basics in general as a feature of these decks? You need it versus Eldrazi, but it's so bad versus the field overall. Alright, speaking of bad versus the field, there's a Psychic Rock. We need to keep ripping removal spells, just like crazy here. Discharge. Well, I could also just hit Tamiyo with this. Frog can go up to 4, but then if they block, they lose it, but they don't need it because they're going to draw half their deck. If only you were Swords to Plowshares. This does buy me... No, it doesn't. I was about to say this buys me a full turn of not worrying about Tamiyo, but it doesn't because they'd be happy to lose her. Yeah, the numbers on this lining up that you get to keep the Tamiyo after she goes ultimate is so weird too. Yeah, if I discharge, they just discard 2 cards. I guess I just have to risk it for the biscuit here. Discharge this thing. And then I will attack Tamiyo. Oh wow, they didn't discard. That's lucky. I was so beat there. Alright, attack Tamiyo. Keep that coming. Like, they could have even just discarded a bunch of cards to the frog to keep it, and then not blocked, let Tamiyo go to 6, and then they just have a 3/4 frog and Tamiyo threatening to go infinite every turn. Yeah, I think they made a mistake there. Obviously, the 2 cards in their hand have words on them, and that's a consideration. Okay, so they reanimated the frog. Okay, white removal. Let's go. All right, we finally lost. And I'm 1 short of playing this Cauldron. It's over. Okay, that was a complete soloing by Tamiyo. This build is on Reanimate, which is something I have to respect some amount. Red Blast, Containment Priest. I still hate Force of Will. And Force of Negation. Back to basics, you're useless. Wrath of the Skies, I like just fine. I don't really want to have Surgical in my deck, but I feel like maybe I'm supposed to. What cuts are left? I could cut a 4th. It's really hard to cast that card effectively in this matchup. Okay, here we go. On the play, I will keep this hand. This one has cards that I actually want in the matchup in it. Also remember, last game was the one that I kept a hand I didn't really have a lot of faith in. Maybe I'm just supposed to snap force that early Tamiyo. In hindsight's 2020, but my deck's full of spot removal. I'm not gonna feel too bad about that. Opponent mull to 5. I like that. I wish all my opponents would mull to 5 in perpetuity. I am not going to play into Wasteland here. I'm not going to play into Daze here either. Having the Spell Pierce to fight over an Entomb is something I'm interested in. Undercity Sewers. Kept the card. Brainstorm. I'm not putting Spell Pierce there. Weird to play your land before casting Brainstorm. You're just not interested in shuffling. You're that confident that you're not interested in shuffling. I'm not a Daze deck. I'm going to Brainstorm in the end step off of a basic. I don't want this Plateau. And I don't want 2 Stoneforge Mystics. Or maybe I don't want 2 Prismatic Endings. Yeah, that's fine. Upkeep, fetch a basic Plains. Pyroblast, okay. Now I got all my weapons up. Send the first Stoneforge. By keeping the second one, I don't care too much about fighting over this one. Or if they kill it, it's fine. I'm getting Cauldron. I want this to be a problem for them. I don't want to get Cryptic Coat where they can ignore it for a little while. Just make them have it. I've already gotten a 2-for-1. I'm not going to spend Spell Pierce there. That opens me up to Daze. That puts my shields down to Entomb. Basic Mountain was a sick rip. Now I've got this Pyroblast up. I will get Cryptic Coat off this one. Now I have the biggest thing and the lowest thing to interact with either way. Another Fatal Push, that's fine. That's why we got the low one. Cycling Troll. Barrowgoyf. I've got a Swords to Plowshares for that, or a Prismatic Ending. I'm going to get the Meticulous Archive right now. I think I'm ready for a dual land, and that's the best one. I'll keep the plains. Lands are good right now. Prismatic Ending for 3 colors. This puts down the Pyroblast, but Spell Pierce is on right now. And finally paid off for that. Spent 2 cards on it. And now they have nothing going on. I have a handful of threats in interaction. Ponder, okay. They did not shuffle. Tameo, all right. That shit is dead. Okay, right now, I could use Cryptic Coat to clear a Brainstorm card, so I will. Wow, having Tameo under there is really interesting. Because that's something I'd actually turn face up for value. Okay, I'm going to put back Ponder and Tameo. Get my Plateau out there. Put Tameo under the bus. And Pyroblast your Tameo. Okay. We'll see if putting Tameo under the bus pays off. Metamorphosis Fanatic. This is going to bring back Troll of Khazad-dûm. That's really good. I have the Plow for one of these, but they have 2 things coming back. And that was that still a Ponder card? Did they know about that? They may have. Okay, I don't have to do anything too clever here because they're hellbent. Just Plow the big one. I'm drawing Ponder. Okay, this is my second draw of the turn. Cool. I'm going to take this Plow. I'm going to turn Tameo face up. I want the Clue. I want the Planeswalker. Can't be blocked and flying. A double multiplier. 1 damage in. I think I do actually just want the Planeswalker here. I could see arguments to just having a Tameo with Ward go into town. The opponent's at 27 and in top deck mode. I've got a Stoneforge Mystic here. Ooh. I almost just fired this Brainstorm, but their deck does contain Orcish Bowmaster. I'm going to buy back a Swords to Plowshares before I do anything else. And then I'm going to pick up Cryptic Coat, and then I'm going to cast Brainstorm. This just does the most with the Stoneforge Mystic, gives me the most options. Put back Island and Cauldra. Play my land, play Stoneforge. Cool. All right. We did it. I don't think my sideboard changes. These are the cards that I have that I like, and Consigned to Memory can counter a Miracle trigger or an ETB trigger off Fanatic. Definitely glad I have my Graveyard Hate in. Yeah, I think this is what I'm doing. No removal in this hand. Brainstorm a bunch of threats. I don't like it, but I'm going to keep it. This is better than my hand game 1 and worse than my hand game 2. Now my hand is solid. The Surgical Extraction goes a long way to fixing my problems. The thing I was most worried about was just a quick Entomb Reanimate. Oh, Island doesn't cast Entomb. It does cycle Troll. I got the basic Swamp. I will Surgical this thing. Just a good exchange. All right, Emergency Cycle another Troll before it gets ripped out of your hand. Good call. Okay, their hand is Brazen Borrower, Go for the Throat, Murktide Regent, Psychic Frog. That's a lot of really good cards. They have their forces in 2 Reanimates, 3 Fanatics, 2 Barrogoyf, 2 Emperor of Bones. I don't see a Big O. Like the Entombs are out. Okay, so they have fully juked 3 Tameos, Force of Negation. Okay. All right, we can play this game. And because it puts their interaction into a weird curve, I'm just going to shove Stoneforge Mystic right now. They don't have a Daze, they don't have a Force. All of their removal costs 2. So if they want to play Psychic Frog this turn, they simply don't get to kill Stoneforge. And I'm getting Cauldra to make this as scary as I can make it, to try to make them come to me. I'd love for them to go for the throat here. Ooh, pause on the draw step. They just drew Fanatic. Oh wow, are they just gonna raw dog a 4/4 lifelink into play? Okay. Yeah, that's certainly legal. Brazen Borrower is a good answer to Cauldra. Not anymore, it's not. Okay, I'm gonna play Plateau and pass. And I'm gonna go for put Cauldra in combat to eat the Metamorphosis Fanatic and Pyroblast the Petty Theft. Hope they don't have Wasteland. They have 1 card in hand I don't know right now. Psychic Frog resolves. Tameo, that was the unknown. Okay, they can't afford to attack. End step, put in Cauldra. Galvanic Discharge is a nice one. Okay. Prismatic Ending the Frog. Discharge the Tameo. There is one Volcanic Island in my deck that can still cast this Pyroblast. They would need Daze or Thoughtseize or Force of Will to win this exchange. Okay, just cast in Murktide. They are doing their best to flush out my Pyroblast, but I'm not falling for it. Drew Ponder. I'm going to start with Ponder. So my hand is already good. Tameo, Spell Pierce, Cryptic Coat. And Spell Pierce is another layer. I think I'm just going to shuffle this. Found a land. A new Stoneforge, which means I can activate the first Stoneforge, putting in Batterskull here. I'm going to grab Batterskull, and I'm just fetching lands now. I don't want them to have a window where my fetch is on the stack and they can kill Stoneforge. Brainstorm is fine. Wasteland goes a long way here, but now that I have Batterskull, I care way less about Fnatic, and I could just kill Murktide. There's Wasteland. Okay, they moved into attacks without wasting me. If they were going to force the issue here, they could have wasted my red source pre-combat. Okay, I am going to put in Batterskull, which gives them a window to Brazen Borrow, but I can re-equip Cauldra eventually. Oh, they just didn't even do it. And now they're smoked. Okay, Teferi's on the stack. Now we're never opponent. Obviously, we can see my hand and they can't, but this Wasteland was the missing piece to break this open for them, and now I'm back in control. Fatal Push was the unknown in their hand. That makes sense why they didn't waste, because they have 3 mana worth of spells to cast. Okay, they go for the Throat instead of Brazen Borrow. That's fine. I'm going to bounce Murktide. I'm just not worried about Fnatic. And now I have the mana to pick up Batterskull. I didn't have to tap a red source to play Teferi. Maybe I messed this up, actually. I thought for sure they would Brazen Borrow there, and then they didn't. Okay, they wasted my Tundra. I just let that happen because I'm more worried about Brazen Borrower, though I don't really need to be. I can kill that anytime. Psychic Frog. All right, they've drawn a lot of good cards in a row. Yeah, this is actually... Oh, wait, where'd the Brazen Borrower go? Did they brainstorm that away? Wow. I did not think that was going to happen. Okay, well, in that case, I'm going to kill Psychic Frog and then just go heckin' insane on my turn with Batterskull. Where did that Brazen Borrower go? How did I get so lost? Okay, attack. If the Brazen Borrower is on top of their deck right now, then they have outmaneuvered me and I am a clown. Psychic Frog. Okay, I'm not worried about that one. They don't have much of a graveyard. Murktide Regent can kill Teferi this turn, but I'm winning the race by a lot. Oh, no attack. This thing doesn't fly. Okay. I can Brainstorm. I have a shuffle locked up with Stoneforge Mystic. Those are all insane cards. All right. Goodbye, Stoneforge Mystic. I don't need you anymore. Float this Brainstorm on top of the deck. Plow, Snap, Plow is just in the tank. This thing has First Strike and exile anything it touches. There's no combination of double or triple blocks that will impact this at all. It's really weird that Teferi's not dead. The opponent's at 4. I'm at 28. I can snap a Pyroblast, a Ponder, a Brainstorm, or a Swords of Plowshares, or a Prismatic Ending, or a Surgical Extraction. It's all there. Hardcast Dismember on Stoneforge Mystic. Deal. I certainly don't care about that. Okay, they're jumping the Frog, which makes Murktide bigger. I'm going to plow the Frog, and then snap Pyroblast Murktide. Oh, I don't even need to do that. I'll just bounce Murktide. Yeah, they're hellbent. I'm not playing around anything here. I can hide Snapcaster Mage from my opponent. We got the GGs. I guess the match is over. I don't need to hide Snapcaster. And they may have seen it game 1. It's all blurring together. On to the next round. We gotta win.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Mox Field to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the draw in round 3. My opponent, I played against them yesterday in a league and they were on the Epic Storm. I'm going to keep this Force of Will hand even though it's pretty mid, and hope that they go all in on an unprotected Echo. The Epic Storm has Veil of Summer and Vexing Bauble in it these days. Force of Will is not the most reliable, but if they are on just kind of like a desperate 4 or 5 card line that needs to Echo, and they did mull to 5, hoping for the best here. I'm passing priority quickly, so it doesn't seem like I have a force. Ponder. I don't like all these lands, but I am going to keep Tamiyo, which gives me double force. The Ponder also gave me double force, but what do you take me for? Some sort of coward? They surveilled in the end step, kept the card. It's a land, or they have a land. I'm going to keep double force up rather than committing Tamiyo to the board, and I'm going to fetch Meticulous Archive this turn. This deck is really good at blowing out a Force of Will with Veil of Summer, and if I can get them to commit all in and then counter the Veil as well, that's a game plan I can get behind. But I'm not doing anything, which means they don't have to do anything either. Pass without a land drop, their hand is 5 spells. Archive Stoneforge, let's go. That is the type of thing I'm looking for in life, because this applies a lot of pressure very quickly. And when you have a grip full of Force of Wills, you want them to be scared and try to shove. If I had no protection here, I probably just wouldn't play the Stoneforge, or I would tutor Cryptic Coat with it. And now Lotus Petal suddenly happening, LED, Opal, 3 cards left, Ritual, 2 cards left, bunch of mana in the pool, Song of Creation, force that pitching Cryptic Coat, and they didn't even leave Veil of Summer mana floating, but look at this. They do have Echo of Eons. Double force coming in when we need it most. Sick. Okay. Sometimes having information about your opponent's deck is valuable. Okay, Consigned to Memory can counter any artifact, including Vexing Bauble, LED, etc., and it counters Storm triggers. Force of Negation clearly coming in. I like Wrath of the Skies a lot against the Epic Storm. They're currently building with Urza's Saga, which makes it even worse for them than normal. Lavinia's great. I'm not here for land disruption. Galvanic Discharge is completely blank. Pyroblast does hit Echo and Brainstorm out of their deck. Surgical, they don't often leave an Echo where you can Surgical it, but sometimes they have to. And if they take a Gaia's Will line, that might be something we can use. I basically like all of the blue cards. We don't need Batterskull. I'm going to tutor Cryptic Coat as a blue card to pitch to force, or Cauldron to kill them, but we're not going to be in a damage race. I don't even think this deck plays Empty the Warrens anymore, or Ave Progenitor Ooze, and we can't race the dragon card. Volcanic Eruption, is that what it is? Okay, I need 2 more cuts if I want to bring all these cards in. I could just not bring in all the red blasts and not bring in the surgical. Prismatic Ending is a nice clean answer to Vexing Bauble that I actually like. I could cut one of the fourths because winning like that isn't that important. I could cut a Stoneforge because I have fewer ways to tutor, or fewer things to tutor it for it with. I said that backwards. There are fewer things to tutor with it. And yeah, okay. I like this spread of cards, just bringing in 10 cards. Feels good against any deck. No protection, no plan for protection. I'm going to mulligan this. My deck is too good right now to be keeping hands like that. Come on now. Okay, so now I have an interesting thing I could do, which is they saw me mulligan, and now I'm happy with 6. So if they're on a Vexing Bauble line, my hand's actually really good against that. Okay. Volcanic Island. They are on an Urza Saga start, which means they could tutor Vexing Bauble next turn and then start busting. LED. Okay. Another LED. Is this to play around Lavinia? Smart if true, but I can Prismatic Ending one of those now, and then they have less mana. Okay, I'm going to put back these lands, and then fetch a Tundra, and Prismatic Ending one of the LEDs. I'd like to ponder here but they're going to tutor Vexing Bauble. And if they do that, while I'm tapped out, they know they're completely safe. But right now they have to think about Pyroblast, Spell Pierce, Flusterstorm, Consign to Memory. Yeah, it looks like they're just sending it on the Echo anyway. If that's what you got, that's what you got. And I got Wrath of the Skies if we get a turn. The Bauble is doing its job versus Force. Ooh, they popped the Bauble. That's good news for me. Suddenly, fresh life. Oh, wow. They drew no lands, no initial mana sources. What is going on over there? That must have been just a bad Echo for them. All right. Well, if that's what we're doing, I can go Tamiyo, Ponder, and get Planeswalker mode going. Or I could just Ponder looking for other cards. I don't need to decide yet. I can Ponder first. I could Surgical Extract their Vexing Baubles. That makes this handful of forces better. That would also tell me what they're actually up to over there. Okay, don't shuffle. Extract these Baubles. Yeah, just no initial mana sources, 3 Burning Wishes. What a mess. That was pretty unlucky. Both of the Beseech targets, the Song and the Gaia's Will, were both just in the hand. Okay. We get a basic island, cast Tamiyo, and then Ponder, which flips Tamiyo. Snapcaster, Ponder. I like both these cards. Plus. Okay. I'll draw half my deck pretty soon, if they're not dead before then. Ooh, they drew the land. Game on. Ponder. Force of Will. Yeah, I'll keep that. Plus Tamiyo. Double force, double blue card. Tamiyo ticking up. Surveil land to set up. We still have perfect information. They bin to Brainstorm. They're looking for mana here. Brainstorm. I could entertain that that's worth forcing, but I also think that my hand is just so good that I don't need to do that. Top card of my deck right now is a land. Or no, a Prismatic Ending. Right. Same thing. You know what I meant. 100% the same thing. Blank card is what I'm trying to say. Okay, they got to pop now. This is why I held the double force, because the Tamiyo goes off here, and then my hand is everything forever. They did find land number 3. I have to imagine Song of Creation is back in their deck at this point. Dark Ritual, Burning Wish. I'm going to force this, because that could grab something like Thoughtseize, or just some storm spell that I can't really interact with. All right, we got the GGs. Cool. It took a super lucky Echo of Eons. Look at this hand. 2 pair. Okay, on to the next round.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables.
I'm on the draw in round 4. I'm going to keep this hand. Got lots of threats and interactive spells. Versus Saga. Okay. Is it the Epic Storm again? It might be. Could be Black Saga Storm, the Epic Gamble. Yeah, this looks like the Epic Storm again. They are playing Gamble right now. Oh, baby. Please, deck. I don't ask for much, but I ask for this. Let me get to next turn without being dead for this Wrath of the Skies. Bloodstained Mire. That does mean I have to play mono blue, unless I draw another blue source here. This is so worth doing, though. All right, Wrath. 3 cards for 1 here. Urza Saga, Chrome Mox go to the graveyard. I do look like some sort of Boros deck right now. If I actually had the Force backup here, I'd feel great. Raucous Theater. I don't think that one's normally in the Epic Storm. This might actually be a different variation. I'm not sure. But definitely some sort of Gamble Storm. They just milled over Tendrils of Agony. Thoughtseize. Okay, have a peek. My hand's pretty bad from here. They probably take Stoneforge Mystic. There it goes. Lotus Petal. Chrome Mox. If they pitch something, they're hellbent. Didn't pitch anything. Gamble. Okay, so they're entombing something here. Probably an Echo of Eons. Alright, deck. How about Force of Will? Boo. Alright. So they're going to get to rebuild. But my hand's going to be new as well. Rejuvenated. Nobody's really doing what they want to do right now. Oh, God. What a shitty hand. Okay, we just had an opponent brick about as hard as they could off a draw 7 in the last round, and I have returned the favor here. The Ponder is the only saving grace, but you can't ponder into Force and blue card. LED, Opal, Thoughtseize. Yeah, have a look. I'm cooking with gas over here. Ponder's gone. Saga's here. Alright, a Wrath of the Skies would be a great draw. I'll still take it. Tameo. Alright, well, I will put this card into play. They're working with perfect information, but my hand's bad. What do you want me to do? I probably should have fetched Tundra there, just because they're not going to attack my mana, it doesn't matter. But I do play back to basics, and ripping that here isn't the worst. Lotus Petal. Dark Ritual. 2 cards left in their hand. Burning Wish, that's pretty good. That can get Beseech the Mirror, or if they play Peer into the Abyss, that's something they could be doing. I'm not sure what this list is doing right now. But whatever they want to do is going to happen. Oh yeah. We're having some PETA. Go nuts, opponent. 24 cards in their hand. I have on camera on this very channel drawn 24 cards and whiffed. Let's see if that happens here. It's not very likely. They're casting a lot of spells. I don't think we're going to get there. Thoughtseizing me again. It's still 2 Galvanic Discharges. You knew that already. They found the line. Okay, let's do that same sideboard plan again. This is a little different. This is not the Epic Storm, but it is working on a lot of the same engines. Did I bring in Hydroblast last time? I should have. I don't think I did. Whoops. A Plow, a Lingus, 1 Stoneforge, the Galvanic Discharges, Batterskull, back to basics. Yeah, this is what I mapped out last time, and I didn't have the Hydroblast in, but I'm going to have it this time. Teferi's not that good, but he's blue. Prismatic Ending. Wrath of the Skies is doing all that work. Okay. Here we go. Yikes. If they send it, I'm in trouble. If I have time to ponder, stuff might happen. I'll keep. This is a fun level system after sideboarding where I know the matchup. They know I know the matchup. Level 0 is I keep a hand that can interact. Level 1 is they know that, so they're going to keep a slow hand to beat interaction. And then level 2 is they know I know that. They know I know they know that, so they're going to keep a hand that sends it when I don't have interaction. But joke's on you. I had Island Ponder, which is basically Demonic Tutor, and now I do have a Force. Badlands, Thoughtseize. Go ahead, look. I could force the Thoughtseize, but then I just lose 2 cards in exchange for information, and I've consigned a memory on top of the deck. Like, if they have Thoughtseize, then go off immediately this turn. I couldn't stop that anyway. If they have Thoughtseize, pass, go for it. Consign is insane. Force is gone. And I'm passing back with the Consign. I'll probably just play Snapcaster in the end step here if they don't do anything. A Bayou. The cool thing about Consign is that Veil of Slumber doesn't beat it on a Storm Trigger. It does beat it on like Vexing Bauble or something. Right, yeah, I'm just gonna snap to apply some pressure. Cauldra. Cool. Didn't want that. I'm gonna pass with the Consign up. They saw Brainstorm and they saw me not cast it, which means that I have an interactive blue spell in my hand. That's what I'm telegraphing here. Burning Wish resolves. Do they have a Thoughtseize in the sideboard? Got Echo. Guess I'm going to end step Brainstorm here. Just a little Velocity Brainstorm. Put back Cauldra and Wrath. I have to redraw one of them. Another Cursed basic land. Ponder. Surgical doesn't help. Spell Pierce does. Does it? Not really. I'm going to get the Surgical, actually. because I could counter the Lion's Eye Diamond and then Surgical Lion's Eye Diamonds out of their deck, which is like Answering Echo. The problem is that turns on Veil of Summer in a way that's super annoying. Gamble. Okay, they might gamble for LED here. If they have a Veil in their hand, I am in trouble. I doubt they gambled for Song of Creation here. Does not seem like a card you'd actually want. They passed with nothing else going on. Now they have the Spell Pierce up as well, which means I can tangle with a Veil of Summer. And my Snapcaster chip shots are doing their job. Ooh, now Spell Pierce doesn't do what I want it to. I have 3 of a kind Wrath of the Skies. The Skies are so wrathful. They'll probably get a Surveil land in the end step here. Underground Mortuary. And they kept the card on top. Don't like that. Raucous Theater. They're hitting so many land drops here. Flooded Strand. I'm going to attack first. Now I have the decision to play Teferi, which turns off Veil of Summer. I think I'm actually pretty interested in doing that. Okay, I'm playing Teferi. I'm going to minus on nothing. I would like to draw a card. There's fucking Cauldron again. And I guess I'm gonna pass the turn. Okay, Veil of Summer works like this. Lion's Eye Diamond, Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal, Chrome Mox, another Chrome Mox. No imprints on any of these. I'm going to exile Lion's Eye Diamond when they go for Echo. So I can't interact with the Echo here. Surgical your diamonds out of the deck. I can at least do that. It may or may not be important to their plan. There's 3 Thoughtseizes in the deck. 7 fresh cards coming. Okay, here we go. I'd really like to redraw Consigned to Memory. Absolutely not. Okay. Dark Ritual. And this is a great example of a Storm game where the opponent just took their sweet time making it happen. They could have panicked on any turn, but they just took 12 damage or whatever from Snapcaster Mage, hit their land drops, got out of Spell Pierce range, put me in a spot where I had to do something like play Teferi. They took Surgical. That's the only thing that represents interaction at all. Gamble. Dumped an Urza Saga. I'm sure that wasn't what they gambled for. And just Tendrils from the Grip. Okay, GG. Split them with Storm. On to the final round. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. If you're having fun, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can order it all in one package from cardtrader.com. Use code BoshNRoll for 5% off your first order. I'm on the draw in the final round with the most medium perfect Stoneforge Mystic hand you can ask for. I'm keeping it. This is the mid-range dream. A Polluted Delta off a Malta 6. I'm sick of Polluted Delta. I'm going to be honest. I've had enough of that shit. Okay, playing Tamiyo here opens me up to Daze, but I'm okay with that. Am I getting stifled or are they playing around stifle? What's going on right now? Nasty. I'm not playing that shit. If you have Daze, this is going to be an insane blowout. Force me back. Okay. We both have our opponent's down to 2 cards in hand. I do have another land, and my hand is full of threats. I could not play around Stifle there. Let's see if they have a reasonable follow-up. Cycling Troll of Khazad-dûm. Getting Undercity Sewers. Okay. Well, I'm going to stick Tamiyo this turn. That's happening. And I will continue to prioritize a basic, because Plateau plays off Basic Island extremely well. I'm fine with a Reanimate here. I have Swords to Plowshares ready for a Troll. Their hand would have to be Land, Entomb, Reanimate to do a full combo send this turn, but I'm not even sure if a deck with Stifling it would have the full combo send. I don't think you play Troll of Khazad-dûm if you don't have Reanimate in your deck. Oh, I should have played my land first. If they just jump in Brazen Borrower and block this, that would be whack. Okay, that didn't happen. Plateau and Stoneforge Mystic, go get them. They haven't dazed me yet. Get that Cauldron. Just apply the pressure. Ooh, oh no. There was a pause in their draw step. Fanatic time. Okay, well, we have played the Metamorphosis Fanatic versus Cauldron game before in this very league. That Wasteland sucks every ass. I was about to say it would be great to draw another white source, but now we need to draw the first white source. Ponder, please save me. Okay, Ponder saved me. Grab this Flooded Strand. Fetch. I am just going to plow this troll. I still don't think they have days. And if they do, it's going to get me anyway. Can't not do that. Tamiyo gets to make her clue. And then we will see if this Cauldron can hold up against Metamorphosis Fanatic for long enough to win the game. Stifle is pretty scary because they could stifle the living weapon trigger, and then Cauldron is just a 7 mana paperweight in play. Taking this 4. The Ponder did shuffle. Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to start with an attack. Yeah, there's a couple different ways to go here, and I think just putting Cauldron into play is the one that I want to do. And I think I'm going to do it in their upkeep. This is the spot where if they have Stifle, they at least have to tap their own mana to do this. Cool. And they haven't drawn for their turn yet to find another Stifle. There's no way to play around Brazen Borrower here. Entomb. Shit. Well, that's bad. I do have another Plow. If they just reanimate something here. Going for Atraxa. Hope we don't see Force Blue card off this Atraxa. There is no Force here. Valgavoth, that's fun. This is a newish reanimate thing from Duskmourn. 9/9 flying lifelink, ward, sack 3 non-land permanents. If a card you didn't control you put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it. During your turn, you may play cards exiled with the Valgavoth. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana cost rather than its mana cost. Okay, they took Frog, Animate, Underground Sea, Brainstorm. So the Sea's already in play. The Frog's on the stack. Animate, Dead, Brainstorm are the cards we know about. Okay. This is a lot of work to overcome. The deck can do it, though. I believe in you. The Mighty Cauldron. 4th Aerlingus is not what we're looking for. They did not keep this days. I'm going to start by plowing Atraxa. That is the biggest, most horrible one that needs to be answered the most immediately. Ponder. Prismatic Vista, Prismatic Ending. Prismatic theme deck. This covers the Frog over the course of the next several turns. If I attack with Tamiyo, they could jump Frog and discard 2 cards to kill it. I could also use Tamiyo to block Frog so they don't get to draw next turn. Yeah, I think Tamiyo's staying home. And with the sequencing of where I put everything off of the Ponder, they can't Thoughtseize my removal spell here. Discarded Archon, great. That was the one unknown card in the hand. Go with this Animate Dead. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, I'm sacking Stoneforge Mystic, discarding 4th Aerlingus. I have to block the Frog here. I can Prismatic Ending, Animate Dead, which leaves Psychic Frog in play, and I just lose no matter what I do here. Yeah, this game was going well for a little while, but having both monsters within a turn cycle is too much. I don't know if they were holding the Archon pre-Atraxa or if that was their draw for this turn, but either way, tough beats, and Psychic Frog just dumping it straight to the graveyard. The perfect weapon for an uncivilized age. Ponder. We didn't know about that one either. There's still a Brainstorm over there. We did not shuffle Ponder. Frog is in the air. I'm going to block. I hate how free this is for them, but Psychic Frog's unbeatable. What do you want me to do? I'm not winning a game where they're drawing multiple cards per turn. Okay, here's Prismatic Ending. I'll go after Animate Dead, which unfortunately leaves the Archon in the graveyard. Oh, and they just had Force. All right. Super covered. Okay, to the sideboard. My graveyard stuff coming in. My answers to Frog coming in. I don't like Back to Basics. I don't like Force of Negation. I don't like Force of Will. That's a pretty clean sideboard plan to me. Yep, if they combo me out, they got me, but I have to respect the juke and try to play my cards as efficiently as I can. I will keep this hand. Once again, the mana is kind of awkward, but being on the play with Tamiyo, if they want to wasteland me underneath a Tamiyo accruing advantage, I'll play that game. And 3-color decks are tough, especially 3-color decks that play 6 basic lands. It's a lot to ask. Fatal Push. Got me immediately. Oh, the Lingus. I guess I get the Mountain here, but wow, is it awful. Force of Will, pitching Ponder. That means they don't have days, so I don't have to think about that. If I get wasted here, I'm just not even playing the game, though. Frog, I'm ready. Okay. Finding lands is a relief. I'm going to destroy target blue permanent. Plow can get anything in their deck. Red Blast is much more restricted. Another Frog. If only I had the courage to surgical extraction the first one. Okay, plow this. Fetch the Meticulous Archive. Land on top. I'm gonna Lingus. I hope it works. They didn't have days last turn. I am not gonna start playing around it now. Lingus. We're in. Is this the first introduction of the Monarch? It's game 2 of match 5 in a deck that has 2 4th Air Lingus. And this is where we are. And this card has not really held up this league. Brainstorm. Brainstorm found a land. I can plow a normal creature. I can surgical and entomb reanimate here. Here we go. So this brainstorm would have had to come up with land, entomb, reanimate, days. And they didn't have days. They've told me twice already this game that they don't have days. Don't start now. We did it. Okay. That's done. Their hand is Fatal Push. Just look at their sideboard plan. 4 Fanatics in this build. 2 Bowmaster. 2 Stifle. The Bowmasters are good to know about. 1 Barrogoyf. Okay. Now let's try to ride these horses to victory before opponent figures out how to play the game. So I'll get this Tameo in, use my Volcanic Island to cast it. I have the basic mountain and basically no red cards in my deck. Yo. Cool. Now if opponent Fatal Pushes Tameo, I can flip her. And if they Fatal Push one of the horses, then I get to keep Tameo. Ponder's a pretty good find because Bowmaster is one of the cards that could conceivably catch up to the Monarch or take the Monarch from me. I have Plow in hand. They don't know that, but that is one of the things they might be playing too. They did not shuffle. Pushing a horse, taking the damage pressure off makes sense. That's a land. Attack. Okay, Tameo will flip in the end step without casting Brainstorm. I don't even think that's necessarily good. I will crack my clue though and see what that gives me. Galvanic Discharge. So the question is, do I want to spend Brainstorm to get a Tameo plus or just save my Brainstorm? I think I'll save it. A little awkward to have the Planeswalker not being used. Oh, the nuts! The nuts! Cool. Well, that's lucky. They just spent a card doing something I didn't really want to happen anyway. Metamorphosis Fanatic. There is a Psychic Frog in the graveyard. Okay. I can defeat both of these cards with the cards in my hand. Okay, there's Psychic Frog. They are Hellbent. Galvanic Discharge the Frog. Leaves one in the bank. And I guess I'll just plow this now. Keep the beats coming. I am going to Brainstorm this time. I kind of want to use the clue, so the Brainstorm's better. Containment Priest, what's up? Good to use that now. I guess Tameo would flip into a Planeswalker anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, Ponder and Ending. They've had enough. Cool. Game 3. All the marbles. I think my deck still is what I want it to be, and I'm hitting submit. Let's do it. Having the Monarch is cool. I should have done that more during the league. Okay, I'm going to keep. I have a powerful piece of Graveyard Hate. I can remove a Psychic Frog or a Tameo. I cannot beat a turn 2 Entomb Reanimate. They dumped a Fanatic. I am just going to pass with Pyroblast up. They're passing. We've seen Stifles in their deck. It's annoying I have to play around that. Okay, I'm going to play this Mountain that can counter a Stifle if it has to. Kept their card on top. A Frog. I'm going to fetch for Meticulous Archive in the end step. And if they stifle, I will Pyroblast it. Okay, they didn't stifle. Which is good news for this Pyroblast. I'll keep Tundra. I'm in the market for lands. That's fine. I'm going to blast the Frog. No Force of Will. Good news. Fanatic is really scary here. Because it gets the other Fanatic and the Frog. I am going to use my floating mana just for mana efficiency's sake and cast Containment Priest right now. If they have removal, they have removal. But I could not interact with that here anyway. And yeah, Reanimate's sick. Yep, that Wasteland broke it open for them. But the Fatal Push was going to beat it anyway. It doesn't really matter. And now I need some removal as I flood out with weapons. Okay. This at least takes Psychic Frog off the board, which is the one that I'm more worried about. I'm out of Tundras to fetch. I guess I have to get a basic Plains here and just eat shit if they have a Wasteland. Okay, plow the Frog. All right, Metamorphosis Fanatic versus Caldra. We've seen this many times this league. And, like, as predicted, I will eat shit to a wasteland. All right, can I draw a basic island? Jeez, another frog? Chill. Chill. I did draw a basic island. I have 1 equipment left to tutor for, but this frog is gonna outvalue me the whole way. Fatal push immediately. I'll still get the thing. And I will fetch now while Stifle is down. Okay. Back in the danger zone. Once again, my deck built to resist Wasteland got Wastelanded twice, and that is just hell on earth. With 5 mana here, if I could play another Stoneforge, maybe we're in the game, but the way this rolled out, that is not happening. And Frog is connecting. Is that the first card drawn by a Psychic Frog in this league? I will take that as a moral victory. I don't think a Frog has just teed off on me yet. Though, I'm definitely on no outs from here. Okay, yeah, super dead. All right, GG's. Okay, so we got a lot of practice versus Psychic Frog Reanimator. This league was literally 2 Storm decks, 3 Psychic Frog Reanimator decks, right? If I'm remembering correctly. What a time. But at least we're getting meaningful Eternal Weekend testing, because I would rather play against Psychic Frog 3 times and really know if my deck can hang than play against like Bogles or just random shit, I don't even know, that you're not going to see. For a deck that is nominally teched out to beat Psychic Frog, we were not very good at that. We do have a lot of removal, but the problem is Psychic Frog being Psychic Frog and just steamrolling. Historically, you could spend 2 or 3 turns brainstorming and pondering to find the removal spell to kill the Dragon's Rage Channeler or the Delver or whatever classic threat we're talking about, the Tarmogoyf, the Gurmag Angler. But Psychic Frog, every turn you spend digging, they just raw out manage you, so you really need it now. And with that in mind, I think that this list should play 1 4th Aerlingus, not 2. I think Back to Basics and Force of Negation should both be in the sideboard, and just play 3 more cards that line up better against Psychic Frog than you're playing right now. That might be like Prismatic Ending number 3, a main deck Pyroblast, and something else. I don't even know. But I don't think Back to Basics is a main deck card. You really only want it versus Eldrazi and specific lands, Cloudpost style strategies. And one of those, Eldrazi, you could theoretically outmuscle with a bunch of removal and a Kaldra, and then you grab your Moons and Back to Basics out of the sideboard. But drawing Back to Basics versus a deck that plays their own Harbinger of the Seas and fetches basics easily and can easily play on 1 or 2 mana, just it's not a good main deck card. The 4th Aerling is pretty bad versus Psychic Frog as well. Maybe you keep the Force of Negation and you go +1 Prismatic Ending main deck Pyroblast. And that's what I would be thinking about if I was seriously thinking about Jeskai Stoneblade in the current metagame. First Revenge, thank you for sharing this. Board0076, thank you for building it. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, check out Card Trader and the sponsors, and I will see you next time.